Congressman, good morning to you. Why do you plan to object to the certification of the 2020 election?
I think, number one, it is our opportunity to contest the election in Congress. But there's a couple of things in Arizona and some of the other states, and I would say that there's constitutional issues that need to be resolved because the states have the authority to designate time, place, and manner. But in Arizona, for instance, we had a judiciary step in and basically arbitrarily go over a state statute that they said was constitutional and appropriate, and yet they decided to arbitrarily extend time of registering, and that you got upwards of tens of thousands, perhaps as many as 150,000 voters registered who otherwise should not have voted. And that's a violation of the Constitution. Then you have all kinds of issues where the courts have prevented people from who've said, we've got an affidavit that there is something wrong here. We want to investigate, we want discovery, and the courts have procedurally said, we're not going to let you do that. And so there are issues both on the constitutional side as well as on the fraudulent side that need to be looked at very closely. This is an opportunity for Americans to hear that debate, and I think that's very important to understand in a constitutional republic where we have a representative form of government.
Have you spoken with the Secretary of State in Arizona about this and shared your concerns?
No, not with Katie Hobbs, who I've known for a long time. She has actually taken a position that if you support Trump, you are. She's used some rather inflammatory language. Let's just put it that way. So there's no need really to talk with her. The real issue for me is trying to reach out to the governor, reach out to the state legislators.
Let me just tell you what Katie Hobbs said. She's obviously the top elections official in your state. She is a Democrat, as you mentioned. She's saying these Republican congressmen have not raised these concerns with her, and she finds that concerning. She says none of these folks, including you, she names you, as well as Gosar, has reached out specifically to my office to actually address real concerns that they may have, which really tells me that they're not interested in a productive conversation. To that, you say what?
Well, two or three things. I've known Katie for a long time, and when she refers to Trump supporters as Nazis, she kind of loses the flavor of let's sit down and have a productive discussion. The second thing is I have a very experienced former elections law official in Arizona who has reached out and talked to a staff for Katie Hobbs. So I don't know that that's exactly accurate on her part. And the third thing is she is actually the only thing that she's doing is she's preventing the state legislature from getting access to the machines and the ballots that they want to cause for an independent audit. So she's irrelevant in some respects, other than she's kind of holding up the audit that the state legislature has indicated it wants.
Okay, I have a final question, and that is not all of your Republican colleagues agree with objecting to the results of the 2020 election. Senator Tom Cotton threw a twist in this whole thing, a staunch supporter of the president. He will not object. He said objecting to certified electoral votes will not give him, Trump, a second term. It will only embolden those Democrats who want to erode further our system of constitutional government. So address his concerns and his decision to not get in the way of the results.
Well, when you have constitutional violations on the front end, like in Arizona with time, place, or manner, to say that we're not going to object because that will erode election integrity, I'm trying to assert election integrity. And if you think that allowing fraud and constitutional violations is going to somehow assure that we have election integrity in the future, I have to just beg to differ with Senator Cotton.
Congressman, just final thought, what's the end game? People see that you're doing this. You're obviously passionate about doing this. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But is your end game to overturn the results of the election, or is your end game to change things for the next election?
Well, the first thing is to provide election integrity and raise the issue of election integrity.
Okay.
And so going forward, you have to do that. The second thing is you have to have the debate. We've never been able to have the debate on the constitutional issues that I mentioned, as well as the fraudulent issues that have been out there. We haven't had that debate. We have to have that opportunity. And the third thing is, this is a process that, whether we like it or not, it's statutorily been in place. It's there to use. And so we're going to use that process. And I'm a big believer, Sandra, and I've told this to the president, I think you fight until there's no more air in the coffin. And I think that's really the end game here is we have got to keep fighting this thing through. And And the odds are strongly against us. I think I know that. I think people know that. But we have got to continue to fight for what we believe is the constitutional form of government that is our way of life. And that's really what this is about.
Congressman Andy Biggs, great to have you on this morning. Thank you for your time.
Sandra.
Yeah, thank you.